re-listen.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the training's designed where you can jump on. So if you were to decide to jump onto it, you'd come on next week, you'll jump on with the people that are on it already, and it won't make any difference because each session is unique, it's individual. So they might have more experience already by doing some of the training, but it won't make any difference. And then when they complete their training, you'll continue to do the ones they've already done. So that's how I kind of work it with the training. So there's about 10 people on the training. The training's designed as well, where like if you can't make a webinar that week, we record everything so you can listen to it in your own time. We've got all the resources on there as well on our website, which we send you. So each time we do a session, we would send you the Zoom video for the whole session. We would send you the actual what I call journey, the video journey, where you can practice it as well. So you'd get that, and you'd get all the paperwork and everything you need for each session. So you could, in theory, do it in your own time if you couldn't jump on the webinar. And like if you get to a point where if you don't feel confident that you know that particular session, that module, it doesn't matter, because you can either jump on a private session with me at any time, or because I repeat them as well, you can jump on a future one as well. So there's no time limit. You know, you can do it in your own time, and eventually in your time you'll get to the completion where you'll be a certified Frido coach. At that point I would be confident, and you would be confident, that you could facilitate each session you know, comfortably. So that's that. I think before we start, I think Meena's come on just for a little bit of time, just to share maybe some of her experience and any question you might want to ask her as a trainee, a coach trainee. And also Harry, he's another trainer. He's coming on in about half an hour, again, just to share 10 minutes of his experience, because he's on the training, and anything you might want to ask him as well, if there are any questions. So we'll start off with, let's start off with Edina, just to share something like why you've come on today, or anything you particularly want to share or not share, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, the thing is just my washing machine is just finishing. So if you want to start with someone else, or you're okay with the noise, it's going to finish just in a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Is that okay? Or
yeah, we'll go with the flow. Go with the flow.
Is it really loud?
I can't hear it.
Okay. In that case, yeah. So I've joined in a few times for the Frido retreat. So I've done a few good number of Frido journeys. I can't remember how many, but I still keep finding those Frido cards in my boxes somewhere as well. They remind me of them too. And then I haven't done them for a while, and then last 2 weeks ago we've done the retreat, and it was great, and I find it very beneficial for personal development and all sorts of other things. So I thought it would be great to have these skills.
Cool. Thanks, Edina. Thank you. And Limor?
I did few workshops with you. I did get the cards. I got them here. And I well, we sometimes open them, and I want to know more about the cards, because I didn't really find the book online. And what else? And coaching people. I mean, I do like to work with people. I find healing goes both ways. So because I'm focusing on my own healing, I find that I can take other people with me. So whatever I learn, I like to teach. So I do woman circles, and I do half moon meditation walks, and love charm sewing workshops. But it would be nice to also do maybe one-to-one or coaching, or I mean, there's a lot of coaching going on, so but I've got the cards, so I thought to try it.
Why not? Okay, lovely. Thanks, Limor, for sharing. And throughout the training, you know, if somebody, if you start and you've had enough, you can just stop. Like, it doesn't matter. And then maybe one day you might want to come back on again. So it's very relaxed. You know, like the training I've designed is really relaxed. You know, I'm not putting anyone under pressure. People can come. Other things come into your life sometimes, which takes priority, and that's fine. Because in my design of Frido, it's an ongoing life skill. You know, that you can keep on coming back to and keep on developing and learning. So Meena, maybe you can share something of your Frido experience.
Yes, as you all know, my name is Meena, and I'm doing the Frido journey since last year. And I remember when I started doing the Frido, it was every week we were doing some session. So when I started doing the Frido, actually it was recommended from a friend who know Gary, and her name is
Sahara.
Sahara. How can I forget? Yeah. So I remember the day I was in a very different situation. My situation was very bad. I was in severe depression, and I was not in a good state at all. I was very suicidal as well. But the day I started Frido, it was a day that that morning I really wanted to end my life because things was so bad. And maybe it wasn't bad. Maybe it's me who was thinking it's very bad. And I have 2 children, and I said, like, I can't do something like that because I have to think about my children. So I was trying to look for support. And that's when I told Sahara, my friend, that I don't want to live anymore. And I feel like I just want to leave this cruel world with all the cruel people which is here. But then that's when she said to me, there's a session going on there, the Frido journey. Maybe if you jump on that. And it was the same day. It was just an hour before the session starts. And I said, okay, I'll give it a try. And I remember that day I was in a very, very bad state. I was crying and all. And I joined. I was kind of hesitated because I know there was going to be lots of people. And I never did Zoom before with different people or strangers. But then I said, no, if I need help, I better stand up my ground and do it. So I did. And when I started, it was so good. And it was, I think it was a 45 minutes, an hour session journey that day. And I would really say that the day was so bad, started so bad for me. But when I finished the Frido journey, I felt so peaceful, so happy. And then I said, no, I have to leave. This life is beautiful. And I know Gary was there, and everyone who was on that journey that day on Zoom, everyone was there for me. There were lots of support. And when we do this journey, it's not only like we wait for Gary to give us advice. If someone else like talking about the problems, we can unmute ourselves, and if we have an advice, we can give advice. Like, we are here to support each other. So the first day after the Zoom, I felt so relieved, so peaceful, and I start to say, like, no, why should I end my life? Why should I suicide myself? I have 2 children, and I have to be more strong. And since that day, and a year gone now, and today I can say that my life has become so much rich, clear, and joyful. And Gary always say when we do Zoom, like, because Gary do remember the day I started the Frido, how I was such a weak woman. I was so vulnerable. I had no excitement of life. I had no willpower in myself to live my life. But today, you see, as soon as I come, I'm always laughing. I'm always smiling. You always see me. I talk a lot as well. Well, I think the confidence that I got from this journey, from everyone on the group, from Gary, and it was just unreal. It was amazing. So, and what I learned the most is, like, even if you run away from a situation, you will attract some of the circumstances there or elsewhere. So changing how you see yourself and your circumstances is the answer. And that's what Frido is here, is to show us the way and how to deal with everything that we face in our life. And for me, I feel so blessed that today I'm here. And last year, it was my first year going on holiday on my own, which was a great achievement for myself in my life, because I was living, like I always say, my friend used to say, you used to live in a cave, but I don't. I'm 37-year-old now, so I think I lived in a cave for 35 years, 36 years old. But since last year, I came out of that cave. I'm not the woman that I was before. I have changed a lot. I have got, well, I got strong, and I know, like, there's much more to learn. There's much more things to do for my life and for my children. And to be honest, like, the Frido has really helped me. And now doing the training, like, things are changing or getting better and better. And I remember before there was only cry, shout, scream in this house, but there's not anymore. And I should say thank you to Gary and everyone on the Zoom and on the support. That's the support I got, and everyone on the group as well. And it was really life-changing. And as I said, like, as Gary always says, well, like, Frido is everything, there's everything. So yeah, so that's me here. And I will really say, like, as a team, everyone is here to help each other. We are here to support each other. Gary is here, Nadine is here, I know them. And for you here, I don't know much, but we are all here to support each other. And let's do this with Frido. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's lovely, beautiful. You'll be this new Frido master next year, Meena. I'll retire, thank God. I can go to Hawaii, live out my life, drinking margaritas. So yeah, thanks, Meena. That was beautiful. And I'm really happy Meena managed to come on, because she's just a perfect role model for Frido. She was going to commit suicide a number of times before I met her. She's changed her life dramatically. You know, she's got rid of a lot of shit that was in her life, and she's created a lot of amazing things in her life now. So that's great. Any questions? If anyone's got any particular questions they want to ask Meena, they're welcome. So I'll just check in.
Well, thank you, Meena, for your sharing. It's really heart feeling, like, to hear you. That's amazing. Well done.
Thank you so much.
That's nice. Okay, Edina, you okay with questions? Oh, okay, come on.
Yes. Thank you for your sharing, Meena. Nice, lovely to hear that touching story.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And that's great. And then Harry's come on, Harry the beard. So Harry can share as well his Frido experience so far. I think this is quite valuable to hear from a couple of people, their experiences. So sometimes that's even better than me going through too much detail, but I'll cover more stuff anyway. But Harry, if you can welcome yourself and share your Frido journey.
Yeah, sure. So my Frido journey is relatively new compared to Meena's, and even newer than Dean's. Well, it's really new. I've only been to three or four Fridos, and I went there just because of Sandy, who's a good friend of Gary, and I didn't know what to expect. So I went there completely unexpectedly, not knowing, just thought there'd be cool people, but it turned out to be a lot more. It turned out to be a really powerful process of making you think about what you're thinking or what's on your mind and how you can grow. Because I just do a lot of things unconsciously, and I've got a lot of healing to do. There's a lot of shadow side. So it's nice to have a structure where I can think about the things that I don't normally think about in a space, and share that with other people who've got different, you know, Gary's got an idea, and then other people sometimes chime in with commentary on your words and the power of your words and what they can mean and what you're going through. Because at any stage in our life, we're going through some kind of, I don't know, upheaval, drama, shadow healing. So including myself right now, just funny. So yeah, I think there's a lot of value to what Gary does. And by the way, it's not just the words, I like a lot the other stuff too. So Edina was doing yoga, Kirsty does yoga. He gets other people on board. Ladrin with the soundbar, gong healing, amazing. All are very special individuals that come into these retreats and really help people. It's because it is about the emotions and the words, but it's also about other stuff too, the other people's gifts. And I think you're really good at letting people shine with the Frido course. So I think, as I've seen, by the way, the last one, when people are going through a lot, couples, it could be very, very powerful to help people at these times. And even when it's not powerful, you get little lessons out of it. Like maybe you're going through subtle things. I always learn, I might have going something massive at that time, but I'm always learning little things about myself that I didn't know. Like, for example, why, you know, asking questions, why, just asking the questions. And yeah, I find it all fascinating. I truly do. I don't understand all of Frido completely, I'll be honest. It's very complicated. There's so much to learn with it. But yeah, I just think it's really powerful, and I've learned a lot from it. And I think it can help anyone if they take it seriously and come into it with an open heart.
Nice. Thank you, Harry. And Harry was talking about the retreats. He's been to 3 of our retreats in the last few months, and as well as coming onto the training webinars. So again, I'll just give it to Adine. If there's anything you want to share about that, you're welcome to, or not. It's up to you.
Me or Edina? I don't.
Edina.
Edina. Okay.
Do you mean about the retreats?
No, just about Harry, or the retreat. You can share either, both.
About what was your original question?
Just if you wanted to share anything to Harry, or ask him a question, or share anything else at this point, or nothing at all. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think I was there with Harry last time, so I experienced all of that. And I think, yeah, it's all work in progress for all of us, isn't it? It's like a journey. And it is great to, I can just second all of that it's great that there's other things included in the Frido journeys to make them even richer. And yeah, it feels like nice communities forming around that, and I really love that.
That's nice. Thanks, Adina. And Limor, anything you'd like to share on that?
I didn't really hear Nadine's experience. I would like to know what Nadine's.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, I already comment about Harry.
Yeah, if there's anything you want to add.
Yeah, I would like to hear Nadine.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Harry, for that. It was beautiful sharing. Harry, I know you might need to drop off at one point, so you know, if we're talking, you can welcome to drop off, as well as Meena. She might have dropped off. I don't know where Meena's gone. Where is she? Oh, there's she. Yeah, there she is.
Gary, I might drop off. Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry.
Drop off, in a few minutes.
Yeah, whenever you need to, that's fine. Just drop
Thank
yourselves off, and we'll meet again. So yeah, Nadine, maybe you'd like. Is there anything you'd like to share about your Frido journey?
Yeah, definitely. So I when I met Gary for the first time, that's when Frido came into my life. And yeah, since then Frido is with me actually every day. So yeah, Frido, when I met, like when we did it for the first time, it was actually mind-blowing for me, because I've never did a lot of self-development or stuff before. I was always interested, but I've never had really like people around me, and I don't know, I just yeah, before I met Gary, I traveled 3 years around the world. I met interesting people, but never really did self-development or life coaching. And then, yeah, when I met Gary, I was just in the process, or he was actually the reason why I split up with my boyfriend, and the whole process, like we did so many Fridos, and it really helped me, like going through the whole process. And it was actually quite a smooth process, and I learned so much about myself. And yeah, actually every day is like I learn so many new things. And when Gary said about the Frido life coaching training, I thought, oh no, I don't feel like I'm a coach, because yeah, I just thought that it didn't feel quite right for me. But I thought, okay, I just attend and see what happens. And it's really, I learned so much things, and I also see that if I talk to my friends or so, I already use the skills from the training, and can really like I already feel a bit like a little coach, because I can ask now questions and go deeper to their problems, and it feels really nice if you can give an advice and help them. So yeah, that's really great. Yeah, apart from that, I love the Frido, the community. It's getting bigger and bigger, and the people are very supportive. Also, like with Meena, she even she visited us on the boat, and it was like really nice to, because I'm usually not a person who likes this Zoom stuff. I hate being on a video or talking in front of people. It's also a bit difficult, but that's also something I learned in Frido, just talking and sharing my thoughts, and then other people also sharing their things. And it's like you learn so much about the other people, what they think, and it's really empowering, and what is it, like encouraging you to talk about your things. And yeah, it's beautiful to see on the retreats, to meet the people who you met on the webinars, or yeah, so it's really great.
Thanks, Nadine. Limor, anything you'd like to feedback or share?
I was just thinking about the Tesco. I went shopping today, and there was these two ladies in the cashier, and I was thinking, like, I really want, like, you know, all the things you never say and you're thinking about saying. I was thinking, how is it feels to talk, to have a small talk all day long? Because it feels like the two cashier, like talking between each other, and like really having this kind of. And I like what Nadine said about, you know, when you meet people and you want to ask them like meaningful questions, to have these kind of tools, because you cannot just change the whole conversation when you actually, like, you know, instead of going small talk all day long, you know.
Yeah, I agree. Like last time we in the Frido, or it was 2 trainings ago, we had this ask why, like with this why question, you go deeper and deeper, and that was really interesting. And even Gary, in the end, the training session was finished, and then Meena's son came on it, and he did it with Meena's son, and it was like really interesting, because you get really deep into the thought process of, like, yeah, so that was quite cool. Just ask why and continue with why, because that's what what Meena said. That's actually what children are doing. They often ask why, and you get annoyed, but actually it gets you really thinking about it. So,
oh, that's nice. Cool. And Meena's little girl's come to say hello, has she? She's so cute. Has she run away?
Hello. She just came. Look, she looked cute with her uniform.
Oh, so cute. I love it. I love that colour on you as well. It's so beautiful. Red. Fire girl. I know you're fire girl. I heard this.
Thank you, Gary.
It's nice to see her. She's so beautiful. She's so cute. I bet
when she sleeps.
Oh yeah, I know. She's such an angel when she's sleeping. Oh, that's lovely. So guys, yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for that sharing. That's really useful. So my history, some people know Frido history. So apart from leaving school at 15 and beginning my hairdressing career and ending up having salons and opening up a training school, and I developed that a lot over 19 years. When I was about 17 or 18, I started to think about life and death and things like this. And I started getting really interested in alternative ways of thinking, alternative therapies. You know, I got every book on every therapy I could get my hands on. You know, I had hundreds of different books. I was really interested in alternative philosophies. And then when I opened up my businesses at 26, my first salon, I developed myself as a leader. So I started going on a lot of leadership courses, and that introduced me to lots of leadership skills like NLP, you know, even hypnotherapy, all kinds of things that would communication styles and this kind of stuff. All these things that kind of add, you know, to kind of coaching skills and leadership skills. And self-inquiry and motivate. It was a lot about empowerment and motivation, how to motivate your team, you know. And I started to develop my own kind of systems. I was going every month to this private club, which was really expensive. And I was there for 7 years. And every month we would meet in our group, a small group of about 13 or 14 leaders. You know, we had a leader in a big jewelry fashion shop chain, 100 salon shops he had. We had someone who was an expert in financial in a big company, all these different leaders. And half a day we would arrive there at 8 o'clock in the morning, and for half a day they would have a special speaker, but an interactive speaker. So they would be top of their field, you know, really top guy. In yoga, for example, we had a really top yoga teacher in Kundalini yoga. Yoga, is it Bhajan? He was the main guy, and then one of his disciples under him, or who learned directly from him, or one under, he came and did a whole half a day, taught us about Chinese medicine, Kundalini yoga. Another day we would have a marketing expert. Another day we had a guy with no arms. And, you know, he's a motivational speaker and he's made a success of his life. And he would tell us his story, you know, how he was born with no arms and what he went through in his life. You can imagine at school and and how he went through that and became very successful in his life. Then he went on to sit on a stool, and he played the piano with his feet. He played the drums with his feet. And he played, there was another instrument, I forget now. He played a whole thing that he'd written himself. He writes his own stuff, plays his own, and he didn't just play well, he played amazingly. Like, so it was amazing, it was so incredible. We had another guy that came on in a wheelchair, paralyzed, you know, from kind of here downwards, burnt as well. His face was all like plastic, you know, lips were plastic, ears were plastic. And he'd gone through terrible stuff in his life. He'd been blown up, you know, and twice. He had a big accident once first, and that's when he had about 2,000 pins, you know, metal pins put in his bones to keep them together. 2 years in hospital, and he came out, and about a month later he got blown up in a road accident, and he's now burnt. And he came on and said, and there was a big audience of about 200 of us. It was a big convention where all our clubs got together. And he said, raise your hands if you've reached your goals in your life. And these are all leaders, big leaders in the audience. And not one person put their hand up, and he put his hand up. And it's like, then he told us his story. And it's like, whoa. And he's flown around the world. You know, he's flown in his paralyzed state. I don't know how, but he's actually got his pilot's license, flown around the world twice. You know, gets paid £5,000 a talk, you know, around the world, and he's living his dream. And I got the privilege of meeting every month amazing speakers. And one woman with MS, she was a mountain climber, like a proper mountain climber. I wouldn't say, well, she called herself professional mountain climber. and this kind, and also Olympic level of athlete. And she got MS when she was about 32, and it was degenerative. So they said, like, it's just going to get worse and worse, and maybe 2 or 3 years you've got left, you know. And she was scared, and she had to change a lot of her life. And she read the book by Susan Jeffers, you know, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And she started to live by that and go around teaching. And again, she was the first woman, I think she told me she was the first woman to sail a one-man yacht, you know, those one-man yachts where you sit on that little seat and you kind of whiz around, you know, you kind of spin yourself around, and it's a little tiny sailboat. And I think she said she was the first woman to sail around the world. This was like 3 years later after she got this MS. And then this was now 12 or 13 years later that she came, and that's when I met her. And she kind of came in, and you could see she wasn't walking properly, but she walked quite well still. And then she did this amazing workshop with us. So I've really had the privilege. I've met hundreds, you know, over that 6 or 7 years. I've met 70 or 80 amazing people that inspired me. And I think what I got from that was actually empowerment. It's like, whatever happens to me in my life, I've met all these people. It's like, I can't be miserable about my life. Whatever's going on in my life or challenges, that's given me so much perspective. I've never really been that low, and I've had things that have happened. You know, I've had £120,000 on my credit cards, you know, when I was suffering in business for a few years, and I had a £500,000 mortgage, and I had to earn £10,000 a week in my salon to pay everyone's wages and cover my overheads. And I had 3 children to bring up under 5 years old. So I've had my pressures as well in my life, but I've never let really anything get me down, because of that perspective. When you meet other people who have been through so much more, it's like, it just gives perspective. And I think that's a really powerful tool that I've learned in my life, a perspective, and keep positive, you know, keep that kind of get knocked down, but don't stay down, because what's the alternative? You know, you stay down and you're a bit miserable. We're all going to die at the end of our lives. You know, it's a short life. So we may as well just kind of, you know, make the best we can out of the time we've got. So that's my attitude anyway. And then I met Bob. Bob's my Frido kind of partner. He's not really my partner because he doesn't do much with Frido. But at the beginning, he was my teacher at 21 years old. I met him at Spiritual Aikido. I was told by somebody in my salon, there's this old, not Bob, but there's this other old man who's skinny old guy, and he can throw you around with his little finger. And I was thinking, I'd love to see that. And I went along to this guy's house. I had to walk to his garage, and in his garden, he built this kind of studio. And that's where he did the Aikido. And I met this old man, and this weak old man, and he was everything that I imagined. He was unbelievable. I don't know how or what, over the years I trained there, you know, several years I was there, this old guy, Mike, anyone that came in, 2 or 3 big, you know, big muscly people, he could throw them around with one finger. He could do a lot more than that, and he did. But that was probably the epitome of what he could do. It's like, how on earth can he do that? But it wasn't just that; it was everything. How he could tap into the universal life force was unreal, and I experienced it many times. You know, being the receiver of it, so I know it. This other world exists. This power that most of us haven't experienced, or some of us have, you know, a small level of it, but it does exist. You know, we're just touching the surface. And I've seen magic, and I've experienced it as well. I've had magical experiences myself, where I can't deny this magic that we're living in, that we haven't learned how to access completely yet, or maybe not too much at all. So Bob was one of my teachers there. He was there from day one. I was 21. He was about 31 or 32, and we grew a strong bond. You know, and he was amazing. He's always been amazing. Bob's always been incredible human being in the sense I've known him. Yeah. So Then, so I was studying the Aikido, the spiritual Aikido, learning about universal life force and whatnot. Also Aikido philosophy. Then I was learning kind of my business. You know, I was learning a lot of skills in business. You know, motivating people, bringing people together, training. You know, I was doing the training as well. MVQ level 3 training I was delivering. And then I had my home hobby, which was like my own kind of life coaching, tarot reading, alternative therapy. So I was kind of doing all these 3 things at the same time for years. And my passion since 21 was to create a powerful transformational process. I've always had that since I was young, and I would practice it on my staff. I had 50 staff. So I ended up, after 5 years, I ended up not really cutting hair anymore. I was just doing these coaching sessions on my staff. You know, every day I had another 2-hour session, and I would develop my system. It turned into something called goal power. It was more about goal setting and goal power. And every time I learned something new, I would add it into my system and develop it. And then I think in 2009 or 10, I hadn't seen Bob for a while, and he had started teaching at my salon on a Thursday night, one of his crazy sessions. You know, he come up with this session that he was doing, mind training session. And for about a year, he was doing that at my salon on a Thursday night. And then after the year, I said to him, you know what, Bob, I want to be able to bottle up what you've got. You've got something. And I said, I want it. You know, I want to be able to teach what you've got. You don't even know what you've got, but you've got it. And we sat down for about a year in 2009 or 10, hours and hours. We spent all night sometimes. Just I had to extract, you know, his knowledge somehow, and plus mine as well, and put it into the system. And we got it in 2010. It formed into Frido, and then it's developed since then. It's taken the last 11 years of further development. You know, the first 3 years it was something similar to what it is now. You know, it had elements of it, but it's really developed. You know, it's like the first mobile phone, you know, that ever existed. The big, you know, great big brick. And now it's like this amazing technology. And I feel like Frido's come along in 10 years, and it's become. I'm happy with it. It's still got some learning to do and development. It always will have, but I'm pretty happy with it now, and we're kind of now spreading it, you know, more properly through our retreats. We've got an app being made at the moment where everyone can access it 24/7. We're now doing the teaching, so people can use it within their own skills or workshops, or do their own stuff. So this is my sort of story to get to now where I am. And I feel like I'm just going to continue. You know, I've devoted my life to it, really. And this is it now. I quit my salons 10 years ago, actually. You know, I quit everything. And I've just been focusing mostly on Frido development. So here we go. So we have the Frido symbol. So that was channeled to me. It didn't look like that. It looked like a Union Jack, you know, with the lines. So north, south, east, west, and then the diagonals. And then I kind of had these 2 circles within that, and it turned out to be this. But the actual symbol that I was channeled had 25 different sections in it. So if you can imagine the red one here, that's made of 3 different sections. And if you can imagine, there was a circle around here, like there's an inner circle, and that inner circle created the first 8 sections of each Frido segment. So the inner circle, if you can imagine that circle there's 8 segments, and they follow the chakra colors. So we've got red, orange, yellow. We've got 2 greens. So if you notice, there's 8 segments in Frido. Often chakra, they'll say sometimes there's 7 in some of the chakra systems, the more kind of basic understanding. But there's 8 here because there's 2 greens, and these greens represent the heart chakra. And the heart chakra has 4 different compartments. And the heart chakra is also, like for me, it's the bridge between the first 3 and the last 3 chakras. So some people call these the lower chakras, or doesn't matter, or the higher. These are the kind of more physical, maybe perhaps, and these are the more kind of energetic chakras. And the heart chakras, the heart section is split into 2. And you'll know why. I won't go into it in too much detail now. But but basically they're made up of the energy of resistance and harmony. They're energetic chakras, so they're made up of resistance and harmony, the two together, that create, in Frida, they create the physical universe. The combination of resistance and harmony, of life and death, life and birth, birth and death are in those as well. So it's the energy of birth and death that creates kind of what we've got now. So there's 25 different sections. So the inner circle, there's the 8, and they're called the parents of each family. Each section is like a family. So they're kind of the parents. And then the children are the outer circle. So if you look beyond, like outside that circle, and you can imagine, if I can hold my fingers, maybe not. So there's the red parent in the middle, in the center, and then these will be split into 2. So I would have a little line going across there, like a little kind of curve, like this kind of curve, and then a little line would split them into 2. So they would be like the polarity of the parent. So if the parent was, for example, the body, so that this is the roots color, the red. In Frida, it's the red family, and the parent is here. That's the body. Then kind of the 2 polarities of the body that make up the body in Frida would be the brain and the heart. So some people might understand that as well. The brain and the heart are kind of 2 polar opposites in the body. Whereas, for example, in the harmony color here, the light green, the harmony is the parent of the light green family here. And the 2 children, I call them, or the brother and sister, masculine and feminine, is the birth and the death that make up harmony. Because everything, if you think about breathing, we breathe out, we all the death comes out, and we breathe in new life. So our body cells are continuously dying and birthing. So everything in life has to continually die in order to birth. In Frida, anyway. The other thing I'll say about Frida, I know I've got quite strong viewpoints, but they are my viewpoints. But I encourage people to kind of figure out their own, what's true for them and not what's true for me. So everything I say in Frida is just a guide. It's for you to really figure out, what your truth is, because that's really the truth for you. I have my truth, you have your truth. And the Frida is just helping us find our own truth, this kind of thing. So, yes, there's 25 cards in Frida, as most of you know here. So which match the 25 sections along here. So each color has the color at the bottom that's the same color in the segment where they belong. And then they go through. So we've got like elements, past, future, and all the cards in Frida are what I call universal symbols, meaning you'll probably recognize the name of them. Like for example, past. I call that a universal symbol because I would say most people, the majority of people, understand the part. That it's a symbol they understand. Past, it's got a meaning to them, and it's a powerful meaning as well. It's not just any old symbol. The past can help us, or it can block us, stop us, because the past can hold fear for us, hold bad memories that can affect us today. So the past is a really powerful symbol that can affect us. And then we've got other ones like the heart. So again, everybody knows that symbol, the heart, and you've got your own meaning behind the heart. So all the cards, you've got the source. I mean, everybody, again, understands that symbol. It's, even if they don't know it well, they know there's a source of the universe. Everything began somewhere, this kind of thing, and the soul. So every card in symbol is what I call a universal symbol. It's a powerful, very powerful symbol that's recognized by most people. And each of these symbols have a great influence on us, like all symbols do. I keep on mentioning the word symbols because that's the word that we use in Frida to just name something. Everything is a symbol. My T-shirt is a symbol. I call it a T-shirt, but it's a symbol, meaning it's got a meaning. It's nice. I wear it in the summer. It's nice, made of cotton. It makes my skin breathe. So everything's got a meaning. So therefore, everything is a symbol. in Frido, but we're more interested in Frido is to understand the meaning and the power of every symbol. Like if you could understand the power of the past, you could then use the past to help you. You know, if you can understand the power of a lion and you could learn how to use that power, you could use the power of a lion to help you in your life, or a dragon, or your breath is another symbol. If you could use the power of your breath, people do, right? Breath work. That can really help you. The power of communication. If you could use the power of communication, that'd be amazing. Imagine how many less arguments we would have, or less problems if we could use the power of communication. We would know how to communicate in a harmonious way, perhaps, or a way that's effective. Or if we could use the power of our body, we'd be healthy all the time, right? If you could use the power of your body. Most of us don't actually use the power of our whole body because we don't know how to. Like, how do you use the power of your kidneys? When was the last time you actually used your kidneys? Yeah, you know they're there. You know they do something, but actually using their power, using your heart, using your muscles, using your breath, using your brain. We probably only use a fraction of that power. So relationship, imagine being able to use the power of relationship. Like if you're in a relationship and using it as a power to grow, not to crash, right? The reason relationships crash, why? Because we're missing something. We're not very good at it. You know, we might be a bit good at it, but we're not the master of it. That's why they crash. Or if they do crash, if we're the master of relationship, we will navigate that relationship to a beautiful end. You know, and it will never die. It would just transform into something new and better, maybe. So this is what Frido is all about. Frido's about looking at anything in your life, like anything, your health, a part of your body, communication, somebody in your life, like a person, health, wealth, your home, anything, and studying it in a way that you can learn to know it more, to understand it more. Just like going swimming, you know, how do you get to become a good swimmer? You have to learn. You know, you read some books, you talk to some people, and then you jump in the swimming pool and have some lessons. And it's that simple. How do you learn to be a yoga teacher? You know, you learn, you read about it, you go and get a teacher, you practice it, and suddenly, next few years, you now are good at yoga, and you can use the power of yoga to help you. You know, to be an accountant, it's the same thing with everything that we want to get good at. It's the same principle. We need to learn how to get good at it. But the problem is a lot of subjects that we want to get good at are not at school. You know, maths is there, swimming lessons are there, science is there, English is there, art is there. But there's a lot of other subjects that are really important in our lives, like relationships, like love, like fear. When was the last time you could go to a university course and study fear for 4 years and do a PhD on fear? You know, when you learn about money, someone who studied money for 4 or 5 years at uni, I guarantee they've got good at money. They understand money, and now they can use the power of money to make money. It's obvious. If you knew money, you'd be able to make money. If you understood how the whole system works, it's the same as Monopoly or any other game. If you get really good at that game, you'll be really good at it. It's very logical. Frido's always very logical. It's stupidly logical, in fact. So it's getting good at something. So if you want to improve your health, same thing, isn't it? You know, you have to learn about it. That's all. And the more you learn, the more you can improve. So, of course, there's controversy saying, well, you know, it might be impossible to get to 100% master. Maybe not. Maybe we'll never get there. But we can certainly get a lot more to where we are now. So Frido is basically all about improving our life. That's what it's about. In simple terms, it's about improving our life experience, improving our health, improving our finances, improving our relationship, improving our emotional, whatever emotions we want to improve. I might want to improve fear because fear is a problem for me, perhaps. I want to improve that, make it better. I can do that. I want to improve love. I want to improve joy. I can do all those things. The problem is most people at 16 have already reached their point of not going to learn a lot more. It slows down. It's like, oh, I'm me. I've got my personality. I've got my viewpoints. And they end up generally building a life around, you know, where they are at that point, you know, what they've learned. But we can continue to learn and develop and grow if we've got the right way to do it, the right practices. And that's what we designed Frido for. There's nothing in Frido that we can't learn from. Every session I've done thousands now. In the last 10 years, I've done thousands. I would say confidently, every person that's done a Frido session has made an improvement in that area, whatever they're working on, every single person, because that's been my passion. It's like, I'm not happy unless you've made an improvement every time you do a session, something you feel like has shifted, changed. It might be something very small, or it could be something big in some cases, but improve. That's all we're looking for, add improvement. There's lots of other things I could say about it. And I think also to make changes in our life is small. Sometimes we just got to make tiny, tiny changes, you know, planting seeds, many, many seeds every day, you know, more pluses than minuses, you know, just and continuously learning, exploring, you know, being curious. And sometimes it takes time, you know, to build a new house. It can take a long time. It can take years to learn a new subject, you know, to learn to be an accountant. It can take 4, 5, 6 years to become a hairdresser. I would say if you want to become a good hairdresser, spend 10 years, spend 3 years training, and then 7 years actually getting good at it, and to become really, really high level. And that's only if you continue to learn in that 10 years and not just stay at a plateau. So anything in life is worth, it takes time. But there's very few things like Frido that you can pick anything. You can choose anything in your life to improve, anything, an emotion, anger, anything you like. It's sort of, there's no limits. So that's what's beautiful about it. And as we start building our tribe and we start seeing each other improve, it's like every week when we share, what have you improved this week about, you know, connected to your symbol that you worked on, and there's something there. Everyone's getting something all the time. Some is big, some is small, and it's given us belief. It's all given the group more belief if we just practice it. Because Frido is not like, you know, I guess it's like a philosophy or a religion in some way, but the difference is Frido's not saying Frido's the God. Frido's not Jesus or Muhammad. Frido is in fact you. You know, if you don't believe you are your own power, then maybe Frido's not for you. You know, if you believe something else is more powerful than you, then perhaps Frido's maybe not for you, because Frido is equality. It's saying God is no more powerful than an ant. Right? It sounds crazy, but that's Frido. It doesn't put anything above or below anything. It's like everything's the same. One atom is the same as another atom. It's got everything in it. One atom is a universe. Some science would tell you that as well. So therefore, if one atom is a universe, you're a universe. You've got multiple universes inside you with every atom that we hold. So Frido can be a bit abstract sometimes as well. Some of the journeys can be abstract, and they challenge our normal way of thinking. And it's like, I'm not saying believe in it, you know, what Frido's looking at, or any of my viewpoints, because they can be very abstract sometimes, but just open yourself, have an inspection, have a look, see what you can find, this kind of thing. So we'll open up some questions and see if I can answer the questions you've got about this training or about Frido. So maybe we can start off. Anyone want to start with a question? Just one question. Maybe Edina, you got one question?
Oh yeah. Thank you for the intro. Yeah, good to hear that. And yeah, definitely sounds great what you talked about. It was something that, yeah, really resonated. And the question would be maybe just to get information, like how is the training structured, like
to like every week there is a session you mentioned, and like do you go through one card
Yes.
each time?
Yeah, so thanks for asking that, Edina, and thanks for mentioning there was something that resonated with you, because that's what, when I go on a workshop, any workshop in my life, and I come out of it, all I want to do is take one thing away. If I take more than one thing, it's a bonus. So if something can resonate with me during some learning, I'm happy. I can take one thing away. So that's nice as well to hear that. These sessions are, at the moment, I try and accommodate people's needs if I can. So we've come to an arrangement so far with the group that a Thursday at 3 o'clock seems to work for the group at the moment. The majority of the group, not all of them. I can't please everyone. But we kind of chop and change sometimes. So if you said to me, hey, Gary, let's put it to the group. Can we do Wednesday or Tuesday at this time? We'll put it to the group, and I generally go with the majority to try and work for the majority of people, and also for the ones who take it more seriously, because some people don't take it as seriously and they kind of jump on and off and they're a bit more relaxed about it and they're just enjoying it, the ride. You know, they don't necessarily want to take it as far, and other people do. So I kind of try and accommodate, take that into accommodation. So we normally do at the moment Thursday 3 o'clock till 5. They're 2 hour. We would go through one card each session. So that's a whole 2 hour session, one card. And I do it in order. So there's an order to Frido as well. You don't need to start at one, but you know, I continue in that order. So if you come on and you're doing this one, the following week you'll do the next one and the next one. So what we do is we normally do the training in the way of, we record all the sessions, so they're recorded. Frido's made up of, the Frido journey is made up of 3 elements. The first one is the mind exercise. So apart from reading the card, I would say the first one is reading the card. We do a small reading. We share our feelings about the card and what it means to us. We choose a word. Even though we're doing the training, we're doing a journey also at the same time, but it's not the same. It's more training, but you still get the journey through it. And you would always choose a word, as you know, all of you in Frido, you always choose a word at the beginning. That's the word you want to improve in some way. So you choose your word. We do the reading. We do a small meditation just to open up the space and center us. And then we do the journey. So the journey is made up of the 3 elements. The mind exercise we go through, and that's kind of, it's studying your word through the mind. That's what the mind exercise is for. It's about exploring it through our mind. And although some of it obviously connects to our body, it's coming from slightly more mind space. This doesn't just allow us to explore our word, but it also helps exercise our mind, different parts of it. So different cards will exercise different parts of our mind. So we're actually improving an ability, a human ability, while we're doing the journey. And we're also improving our word at the same time. So it's like 2 things are happening. The second exercise then is the body exercise. So we've done the mind, we go into the body. So if you can imagine learning to swim, the mind exercise is reading the book and the body exercise is going into the water. So the body exercises are designed to bring the body now into the exploring the word. So if you're going to explore something like love, for example, that card, the body exercise is touch and hugging. And you might do it with yourself, or you might choose something to do it with, like, something cuddly. Or you might do it with another person. If we're in groups, we'll do touch together. So the exercise there is really bringing our body into experiencing love, or this love energy through touch, or even a negative energy it works with as well, like fear. Because if you can learn to hug fear, it will change how your body feels towards fear. You'll learn a different relationship, how the body responds to fear by doing that particular practice, for example. So even a negative energy, we can change and improve. And then the final exercise, the third exercise in the journey, is the ritual. And the ritual is designed differently to the mind and body exercise. The mind and body exercise is like doing a workshop. It's like I'm going to go to a class, I'm going to study my word through my mind, study it through my body. But the ritual brings it all together as one ritual, like a meditation of some sort, or this kind of feeling. So all the rituals are very different. They're designed to do whenever you want, on the train, while you're in bed, if you're sitting in a chair watching television. They're designed to do any time in your life. Because Frido, one of the aims, ultimately, what always inspired me was to learn to meditate every moment of the day. It's like living meditation, living awareness. So we're learning all the time. You know, we're aware of our breathing, we're aware of what's happening, and that's kind of an ultimate state to get to. So the rituals are designed to train ourselves to get into that state all the time. So we can just like I said, there's two benefits to all the exercises and the ritual too. One is, if you, for example, if you're doing yoga, that's really beneficial for your body and your mind and everything. If you're doing breath work, that's really beneficial for your body. If you're doing shaking meditation, it's really beneficial for you as a human being. It helps develop your own abilities. But if you add an intention in there, which is the symbol, so it's like having an intention now. So when you do like an ayahuasca journey or a plant medicine journey or a sound healing journey, what do they normally do? You normally have an intention at the beginning. It makes it more powerful when you set an intention, because you're using all that energy of the session to go into that intention, which you can then benefit that part of your life. So Frido's the same. You pop the symbol in. The symbol is like the intention. So when I'm doing my breathing, my birth breathing, and I'm using money, you know, I'm actually doing so much more. I'm doing the breath work, which is great for my body. It's making my head clear. It's making more centered. And I'm using money as my word. So I'm tuning in at the same time to the energy of money. And I'll learn lots of things from that. But it's not like the exercise. It's more of a ritual. So you don't have to think about it so much. You can just do it without thinking too much. There's no real thinking going on. It's a direct experience. It's like doing a meditation and then just experience. And they're all designed in different ways. So some is shaking, some is spinning, some is dancing. They're all been designed for a specific reason. One is the shaking is connected to vibration in the body. So if you can imagine, if you could get really good at vibrating, you know, you really become aware of your own vibration. Because in Frido, vibration is like one of the essences of energy. You know, it's vibration. And sometimes I feel in Frido that when something stops vibrating, it's gone. It can't exist. So vibration is like energy, movement. So if we can feel our vibration in our body more and more and more, we become more alive, you know, ourselves. So they're all designed for different reasons, and they all connect to the card. But that one is touch. That's connected to touch, that card, the ritual. So it's a touch ritual. And you know, and I know how important touch is in life. It's the only way, in my opinion, it's actually the only, really, I wouldn't say the only way, but pretty much the only way to receive energy, love into the body through touch, whether we're touching ourselves or someone else. Because how can my body receive energy from the mind, from someone's mind, or by watching someone? My body, it's like it can't. It's like a different language. It's like, how can I receive information from someone who's German if I don't understand the language? I'm not going to receive anything. My brain won't receive any of that information, and my body's the same. All I need is touch from myself or from another human being, and as soon as they're touching each other, they're sharing body language, you know, not mind language, body language. So that's beautiful, that one for the body. Anyway, I've gone on a bit, Edina, sorry about that, but I'm just trying to, that's kind of the structure. Is there anything else I haven't answered in that question about the structure?
No, that's a really good answer. Thank you. Yeah, I would just want to say, but you can also receive energy through the mind. If you're thinking good things, then you will receive that life force through the mind as well. Like if you're thinking like so it's possible to receive. But I get that that you were approaching that from a different side. But yeah, prana also comes in from the mind. Yeah, that's good. And I was just curious because I've seen so many of these journeys like in the groups, and I completely forgotten, or maybe I've not experienced that before. Like when you work with someone one-to-one, and then obviously they work with like a symbol, right? And then do you let them choose a card, or do you give them a card, or how does that work?
Oh, if I'm doing a one-to-one session, yeah, thanks for sharing, Nadine. That's why I was reluctant to say it's the only way. I didn't want to say it's the only way. It's just an extremely powerful way, you know, body to body. But of course, if you get to another level, because everything's physical, right? You know, so the physical universe, if you can channel that into you, that's great. But I think also, I just think it's one of the most powerful ways. It's a bit, it reminds me a bit like, why do animals attract to each other? You know, why does a monkey attract to another monkey? Because they're kind of the same. They generally don't mix with other animals. You know, they kind of a shark to a shark, and a human body to another human body, because there's a similarity and there's an understanding. Sometimes I've had it where I'm hugging someone and something's happening between our bodies, but my mind doesn't know what it is, because it's a different species in some way. So that's why I love this. But yeah, absolutely, you can channel anything in. Things can affect our body as well. So if I think of a lemon, that will affect my body. So, you know, it can act on my body, and my mouth can water and stuff. So I think that's all very cool. So if I'm doing one, sorry about that, I just wanted to say something. So if I'm doing a one-to-one session with you, I'll give you a choice. You pick your word always. That's always the first thing. And then I would say either choose a card randomly. Sometimes I just pick a card random, or if you want to look at the cards, use your intuition by looking at them, and the one that draws you. So you can do both ways. Someone who kind of likes to be maybe, no, I wouldn't say that really, but like someone who likes a bit more control always likes to look at the cards, generally. You know, that kind of person who I want to know what's going on. Whereas maybe someone who's kind of more like, yeah, I'm just leave it to random. They'll always go blind. But yeah, you can mix and match. I mean, that's just kind of an idea, yeah. And then you would pick a card, and then we do a reading, or do the journey, or do a ritual. So on the website, there's a brilliant resource on my website, on the Frito Master website, where you can do it. You can pick your card. I don't know if you've tried it on Free Play.
Not yet.
Okay, so you go on to on the website, go into Free Play, and the cards will all be flashing. They'll all be there, going from side to side. You can move them as well, or let them go by themselves, and then you just pick one, and it will open up a menu where you can either have a reading by me, but on video. You can either do the whole journey with the exercises. Again, I take you through it on video, or you can do the ritual. You got a choice out of all three. So often when I'm in bed at night, I will do me and Nadine often do rituals, because they're really cool. You know, we can just kind of do them while we've got our eyes closed and sort of falling off to sleep. So they're really cool. And again, yeah, you pick a word and you do one of those. They're great. It's a really good resource. I've also got a podcast platform now, Anchor, which I'm now putting. It's slightly different. What I'm doing with that one is I'm adding every week different rituals, but I'm putting them under certain words like health or healing or wealth. So they're a little bit more personalized, whereas the website is not personalized at all. So you can choose your individual words and you'll go through a journey. But the podcast is more personalized to a subject. That's all. So I hope that'd be useful. And thanks, Edina. And Limor, have you got any question?
It's funny because my son just called, from Leeds, and he asking me, and he actually helped me to be in this thing, because I was really focused in my answer to him. He was asking me about, he said, you can pay £49 to find out what is your immune system. And I said, don't do it, don't feed them, just be on target, be on your goal, do your sports, all these things you were just talking about. it really helped me to kind of say, you know, don't let the, you know, the negative like determine, don't give it any money, don't put any energy into that. You're immune, as I just said to him, you're immune. You just focus on your goals and your aim and your body. Do your exercise, feel positive, so you don't need to pay £49 to know about your immune system. You're just feeding the system, you're feeding the fear, you're feeding the what they're doing with this money, I don't know. So that was helped.
That's good. Good.
Now I've got another call. That's my friend. Okay, I'm gonna just ask her to.
So that's cool. Okay.
Any question about the freedom?
Anything you need to know from this is the introduction to the training. So anything you
I'm
particularly want to know?
interested to dive in and to usually what I'm interested is to know how much things cost, and you know, that's kind of
Yeah, so I always do this stuff on free or donation. So whatever you feel you can or can't afford. If you can't afford anything, that's fine. If you don't feel like you want to put money into that, that's fine. If you want to donate something, that's fine. So it's just free, open, honestly. So that's how I present the training. I used to do the same with the webinars as well. So just feel free and comfortable, whatever suits you. I won't know anyway, whatever. So that's fine. I can send a donation link, and if you want it, that's fine. So if not, that's fine. So honestly, it's more important that you're just doing the training, you're improving, and you're getting something from it. That's the most important thing for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really kind of like want to know about. So this is give us some kind of like coaching. We can tools that we can use.
Yes, exactly. So you know, when I used to do the webinars last year, you came on some. I was taking you through a journey, so you weren't really learning, although you probably did learn some of the techniques.
So the structure,
and you learned some of the techniques as well.
I did forget. So when you said about ritual, I kind of remember there was something we touched, so to remember something.
Right, exactly. So you know that. So this is more about training, so you can learn to consciously learn. You know, Frido is complex. It's developed over many years. There's a lot in it. That's why Harry said it's like he's been doing it he's had quite a few sessions now. And it's still a bit mind-blowing for him because there's so much, it's so rich. Honestly, every time you do a journey, there's so much different information you'll get from it. And it's just, there's so much stuff in there that I can't explain. In the hour that I've had, I've just touched the tiny bit just to give you a flavor of what's going on. All I can say is I definitely would guarantee you're going to get improvement out of every session.
I definitely needs it because, sorry.
Yeah,
I just feel scattered, and I feel like I've been learning a lot of things and I'm getting confused, and I just need a little bit, and this kind of helps me because I do rituals, and it's just like really helps me to kind of bring things together. Yeah,
and the important thing is what you said is having some clarity over where you are in your life, because our life's so full of emotions and thoughts and situations. It can be overwhelming, and we sometimes can't see it all. It's too much going on, so we find it hard. Am I doing okay in this? Am I not doing okay? You know, I'm having a bad day. Does that mean I haven't learned anything this year? And I think it's really important to have that clarity of where you are all the time. Like, am I growing? Am I going backwards or forwards? Often people will come to me and say, "Oh, I'm having a bad week, Gary. It's like I'm going downhill." I said, "Yeah, but luckily I've been doing Frido, so I know a week ago you were up. You know, the last 3 months you've been up, and now you're sitting here feeling deflated." But I've had to remind them. So sometimes it's important to have that awareness of where we are. Frido helps with that because we're accountable to each other. You know, when you come online, I'll say, "I remember, Lenore, 3 months ago, you know, you had a breakthrough, and now you're kind of being all negative about yourself." And I'm there to remind you about those moments. You know, in Frido we try to journal. That's why every time you do a training session, you take some notes and you note your improvements. The one thing in Frido we always do that will really help you, and you've done it yourself, is at the end of at the beginning of the session you measure yourself against your word. You give yourself the percentage, and then at the end you measure yourself again, And this is to keep you focused, to say to yourself, this is where I am with this word. So you start to measure yourself. Whether it's gone up or down, it doesn't matter. You're measuring yourself all the time. Then you always get a learning. You always give yourself a learning. What have I learned from this session? It's really important to walk out of that session and be clear. What one thing have I learned from this session? I might have learned lots of things, but what's the one key thing I want to take with me? That's the one you want to hold on to. And then finally, we always have an action. So we really keep it very clear and simple. You do the training. You identify what you've learned, like the one key learning. You identify what you need to do to test what you've learned, because there's no point doing something in life where you're not doing it. Learning something, but you don't do it. So the testing is always there to test yourself. And if you don't do it, that's okay. No, it's not a school here where you get fail. You only fail yourself. Like you feel like, well, I haven't done it. That's maybe highlighting some discipline that you might need to put into your life, perhaps. Or maybe you didn't need to do that action. Maybe sometimes the session triggers enough. You don't need to do the action even, because it starts, things just happen in your life because of the session. And then next week when you come back and I say, what's happened? So many clients come back and they say, nothing, Gary, right? Literally, they've forgotten what's happened. And I get them to remember. I say, well, just have a think about it and go through anything. And sometimes they come up with this amazing things that have happened, connected to their symbol that we're working on. But if they didn't remind themselves, it's gone, it's forgotten. And you need to remember all the things you're doing and succeeding at, even little things. It's so important to remember, because then 3 months later or a year later, you've got all these amazing memories that are building up. And what that does is it validates your mind. Even if you have a bad day or a negative or you fail, it doesn't matter anymore, because you've got that foundation under you saying, yeah, of course I fail. By that time, you'll recognize the failure as a success anyway, because it will suddenly start to change things around. Everything you do will start to become a success, because it's a learning. Everything's a learning. If that didn't happen, I wouldn't know that. By going through that experience, it's teaching me this. And that's what we kind of get into that mindset. Not, oh, if I hadn't had that experience, I'd be happy. That bad experience. Or if I had more good experiences, I'll be happy. We don't want that attitude, because that's kind of doesn't work so well. It's like, no, that bad experience has taught me, all this stuff in my life. And that good experience has also taught me all this stuff. So everything becomes useful. Nothing becomes like unuseful. Even the bad experience doesn't become useless anymore. It's like, well, I've learned something from that. Maybe I've learned that I don't want to do that again. I don't want to fall down that hole again. So I've now learnt I can avoid that hole now, because I'm aware of it. So Frido is all about using the power, learning to use the power of everything in our life. Learning to use the power of fear, power of joy, power of love, power of money, power of the tree, power of the animal, power of everything, power of our anger. Learning to use the power of everything, the power of the argument. If you're having an argument, learning to use the power of that argument, not to bring us down, to bring us up, to learn something more from that argument.
Okay. So 2 questions. One, where is the numbers? How do you know what's first? And is it on the website?
Well, so on the website, on the first page of the website, I've got the cards there. Actually, if you go into free play on the website, I think it's on free play, all the cards are there and they kind of go through one at a time. They're all in an order. And if I tell you, body is the first one. So body is the first card of Frido. Then you'll see every card after that is in an order. And that's kind of the order we follow. If you come on next week, we're not doing the body next week because we've already on number 7. Doesn't matter.
Okay, 7. Okay.
Yeah, or 8. But
8.
The 8th card. Yeah. Well, what are we on? We're going to be doing density. So it's shadow work. Yesterday we did space, which is the goddess. So that was more like light work, and we use psychodrama. It was more about tapping into our part of our psyche that we wanted to bring out. Whereas next week we're working with density, which is the goddess's brother. Space's brother is density. The opposite to space is density. There's no space in it, and it's more like the shadow, the devil work.
So I can listen to number 7. Is the space goddess?
Yes, you can listen to all of them if you want. They're all. So we will send you the link to the training page, which you won't find on the website. It's private. So I will send you the link, and then that link has all the cards on there. You'll see every 25 card on that page. And if you click into one of them, it will open up a page with 6 things on it. There'll be the card itself that you can print out if you want, if you need to. You don't need to, but if you wanted to. There's the journey template, which is the exercises that I will be taking you to. So if you're guiding someone through the journey, you'll need that template. So, it's good to print it out. If you're doing one of the journeys with me next week, print that out so you've got it. So you can kind of follow it if you want to. Not everyone does, but that's useful. Then we've got the test. There's a multiple choice test on there. And there's also knowledge, information. So there's one which is knowledge, which you can click into it, and it's got all the information, the details about the card, everything you need to know. It's like the theory of the card and also the exercises. And then when you're ready, there's also a multiple choice test in every card. So when you're ready, you can take that. You can't fail. You can just take it as many times as you want until you pass it. And really, that's just testing that you kind of, you're aware of what you need to know. But you can do that anytime. There's no time. You can do it before, you can do it later, you can fail. The only thing that will stop you doing is getting a certificate at the end. That's all. So that's going to just make sure you've got the underpinning knowledge. It's not too complex or anything, but it's just kind of giving you some knowledge that you've understood, what you need to understand. So you've got that on there as well. They're all on there. Every week we put all that on there, but we've done them all. All the past ones are already there. So you can go back if you want to and look at any of the past ones that you want. They're all there, everything in detail. So there you've got the resources. So we'll send you the link.
Great, thank you.
For that particular page.
So it's Thursday, 3 o'clock.
Oh, and it's got the video for the journey as well. So you've got the video there if you wanted to actually do the journey, like for yourself. And it's got the video on there. So you can either get that video through free play, or it's also there as well on that page. 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock till 5 on Thursday. I'll send you. I'll add you if you want after this session. If you want to go ahead and try, then I'll add you to our training group, and then that's where I put the links on every week.
And the other question was, funny enough, today I woke up my daughter. She's starting school on Monday. She's 13. Her name is Eden, and I woke her up. She was beautiful sleeping. I just stared at her until she wake up, and I don't usually do that, but I just kind of getting her ready because she's got school on Monday, and we was just talking, and I said to her, because she wants to do training, and I said, I saw 2 people boxing on the, she said she doesn't want to do boxing. I said, you know what, I had a joke about 3 martial arts, karate, judo, and Aikido, and it seems like Aikido is kind of cool, because karate is like attack or something. No, judo is attack, karate is defense, and Aikido is dodge. Is that right?
No. So it depends. So karate is normally defend and attack.
Yeah.
So it's people look at karate as being attacking as well, because it is. They will attack with a punch.
Yeah.
They'll often attack you before you hit them. With judo is generally self-defense. So you wouldn't normally go to somebody and put them in a judo throw.
So it's the other way around. Yeah.
Normally, if someone attacks you, you can defend yourself. And Aikido is a bit mixed It's designed as a pure self-defense, in fact, because when you practice, you get someone attacking you, and then you practice. You never attack. You'll never attack, and the attacker is for you to practice your defense. That's all. So you're never kind of trying to attack each other and beat each other. You're only helping the person develop their skills. So it should be a pure self-defense Aikido. Well, it is. I mean, that's how it's designed. But different Aikidos, you'll get Yoshinkan Aikido, which is more kind of power, physical power, and movement and strength and speed. And that's what you're testing yourself to try and get better at the techniques. Whereas the more spiritual Aikido, there's one called Ki Aikido and also traditional Aikido, is more about developing your spirit, your chi, through the technique. So the technique becomes number two. The technique is there designed to get your chi to flow through. That's all. And then eventually you don't really need the technique. The techniques are just designed as a self-defense. That's all. It's like so that's what the spiritual...
But it seems like now something you said, it just sounds like Aikido. The power of argument, or I don't know, everything. It just
harmony. In fact, Aikido is the art of harmony. That's what they would, the old master would say, the art of harmonizing with your opponent or with your surroundings or with your life, learning to harmonize. Now, that doesn't mean if someone attacks you with a sword, you let them kill you, because that's not harmonizing. Harmonizing would be to take the sword off them without hurting you or them, and teaching them it's not good to do that, and them learning that and understanding it. That's harmony. So thank you, Limor, for that. And Dina, anything to add?
I just had a look at the website. Well done for it. It seems like quite must be quite complicated kind of web of links and everything going through.
Yeah.
So if you did that, well done. I'd have a question about the upcoming retreat, but I can ask you that another time. But the question is, like, do you already know the where the actual workshops are going to take place? Just in case anyone is asking me. So we've been waiting because this was a short we only thought of doing this retreat 2 weeks ago, so it's a really quick one. I wanted to get one in before the autumn winter, so we just thought, we'll just do it, just take a chance. So we've had no time to really plan, of course. So today we've been looking frantically at where to have it, workshop, house, and we've got a few options. We've got several options which we're going to book today. I was waiting as long as possible to see who's coming before I decided, how many bedrooms or, how it's going to work. So at the moment, it's looking like it will be a house, and there'll be a living space in the house where we can do our workshops, a bit like Glastonbury. I can't remember if you've been there. You haven't been there, have you? No. So that's where we're kind of standing at the moment. If there kind of is more and more people come on board, then we'll look at renting out a hall, which can accommodate more people for the workshops. But at the moment, it will be in the house. It'd be small and intimate. There'll probably be 8 of us or 10 of us again, small group. There might be a few people coming from Brighton who live there as well sometimes. So that's kind of where we are at the moment.
And is it in Brighton or is it somewhere?
No, we're choosing Brighton. We want to be in the centre, so we're going to be. At the moment we're looking at places which are some are a few minutes walk from the centre. Some 1 or 2 is 15 minutes walk. So we're going to go as close as to. There's nicer places we can find out of Brighton, but we feel like it needs to be in the centre so people can just walk into the shops, enjoy the space. And anyone living in the area can access us if they want to come to one of the workshops. So we're also offering this one. It's going to be different to all the others, where people can come and join one workshop if they want. So we're advertising it now like that, so they can come just for the Friday morning workshop or the Saturday afternoon. So we're kind of designing it in that way. But any questions, ask me maybe after, or we can touch base. But if you want to invite anyone, invite, because if there's more people and we book somewhere smaller, we'll just rearrange something. We'll figure it out. or we'll find a hall or something if we've got a lot more people. Or maybe some people don't mind, you know, if we've got too many people, someone might not mind camping out if there's a garden, or camping out in the lounge. You know, we'll see. We'll work it out.
Camping in the lounge sounds good. Yeah. Yeah, I'll camp in the garden.
So we'll figure it all out. It's always the same issue with retreats. It's like I don't want to spend a lot of money on a big place and I only get it half filled and end up losing a lot of money. On the other hand, we want to have the place that's you know, if we've got more people that we can accommodate. So we normally manage it just about.
Is this house like an Airbnb or is it someone's place?
At the moment, Airbnb. I've got one person who potentially was going to let us use it. You know, she also does workshops in her own house. So I was talking to her as well, but it'll be probably an Airbnb. They're the ones we've looked at mostly, or home away. You know, they rent the whole house out. Yeah, it's got to be the whole place, obviously. So wherever we go, we've got the whole place to ourselves, which is cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, but if you know anyone with a nice house and who wants to accommodate us, that'd be great as well. But we're going to probably book something today, the latest tomorrow.
Mm. Well, the only person I know, but he's in Camptown, is Paul Pradeep, and he lives in a flat.
Yeah, it's got to be big enough, obviously, to hold hold, you know, 8 people at least in a workshop. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll talk another time. So, anything else about the training for you guys? Nadine, is there anything you want to add? So you've been quiet there.
No, not really. Would be nice to see you guys there as well. No, I think you said everything.
Okay, that's cool. Thanks, Nads.
There's just one thing I've read on the website that in between the sessions to practice the things, journeys with myself or with friends. Is that encouraged, or is it like we all have to do it?
No, look, no one has to do anything. It's encouraged, obviously, because, you know, the more journeys you do, the better. First of all, you'll get something out of every time you do a journey. You can work on something, and second of all, you'll understand the journey more deeply. But no, there's no pressure. You do whatever you want. Obviously, the more you do, the better it is. And eventually, maybe not now, but you'll start to use a lot of the stuff in your daily life, because if you see a benefit in something, you'll use it. If you benefit in your yoga every morning, you know it's a benefit, so you're going to do it. So I do a lot of Frido stuff because I know the benefit I get from it. And also I use it as an emergency stuff as well. So if I'm having a difficult time, I'll then do a journey and it will snap me out of it, or it will realign me. But I try to put it into a practice when I don't actually need it. You know, it's like going to the gym. I don't want to wait until I need to go to the gym. I want to kind of practice it so I don't need to go. So that's kind of how I view it. But again, you know, in the process, you'll take what you like from it and practice what you want from it. It's quite good fun as well, because you can do it with other people as well. Yeah.
Did you say, was there like a test or something at the end, or how?
No, so every card has a multiple choice test. So it's also got the information. Every answer is also in the information. So when you go onto that training page I told you about, you can print the information out. So all the answers are in there. And then when you do the test, it's multiple choice. So it's just testing your knowledge, that's all. And of course, you can do it whenever you want. So there's no pressure. There's no time pressure. You might not do it, but I'm just saying, by the end of your training, you would have needed to do those to complete your training. That's all.
You can also do the test as often as you want.
Yeah, you can just play around with them. You know, you'll probably know a lot of the answers anyway if you've done quite a few journeys already. They're not rocket science kind of questions. They're just kind of, so you've got basic understanding of each card and stuff. But yeah, you can play around with it. You can just keep on doing it. You can't fail. And it's quite useful doing. I like doing the multiple choice test because it familiarizes myself, you know, with the questions, and also, you know, the answers you got wrong. It tells you which ones you got wrong and which ones are the right answers. So that's really good way of learning for me as well. I learn better by just repeating the tests than actually reading the theory. That's how my brain works. So yeah. Anything else? No, Adina's done, Limor's done. So maybe we'll just finish up. So maybe Limor, you can finish up with whatever you want to say now, and I'll send you.
Well, I was just thinking about Aikido. I just thought it's quite a funny thing with my daughter, because I think you said about Bob, and she always talk about Bob. She just like to talk about Bob. It's just a funny name, Bob. Who is that, Bob? And then and Aikido, yeah, because she's looking for martial arts to focus and physical, and so it's kind of interesting that you mentioned Aikido.
Yeah, let her try. Aikido is really good. Women are really good at it, in particular the spiritual Aikido, because you need, the power is not in the muscles. So men are not normally as good at spiritual Aikido because they have a problem of coming away from being, you know, fighting. The power is actually not fighting. So you often find the women who used to come were really good. Like they were better than a lot of the men because they haven't got this idea when someone's holding them, like a man's immediately their body's doing this to try and fight. A woman's thinking just doesn't do that, doesn't operate in that way. So she can relax more and tune into the energy much more easily.
I see. Because I think it's for her, it's quite good because she's quite masculine. Like I won't take her to Krav Maga. I did offer to her.
Gosh.
Because she's dangerous, man. With
that is dangerous. Krav Maga is Israeli army, isn't it? That's what they use. Every move is to kill or to break something.
Yeah, so I think Aikido probably will be better for us.
It might be, yeah.
So I need to find in the area.
Yeah, just they're all different. So pick and choose. Like I said, see what style they're doing. Is it more physical in the technique? Is it more kind of spiritual energy? Are they working on the ki, which is the chi, Aikido? So you know, and go see. They're all nice anyway. It's all good. All right, guys. So that's it. So we'll say goodbye for now. If you need me, get in touch. I'll send you the link for next week and see how you go. Yeah.
Yeah, we're interested to start. I can ask my son to do, I don't know, after school club, or I think he come by himself now. So yeah, I can do Thursday 3:00 if that's the time you're meeting.
Cool. Yeah.
So I'll go straight to density. It's quite a good place for me to start because
it's probably one of the most challenging cards.
Yeah.
But it's a beautiful journey. I mean, it doesn't look so beautiful.
Yeah, that's the one I picked. I picked that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
that was the first one I picked, and then I have something, and I had nothing, and then I had something.
Oh yeah, no, density is a fantastic journey. It's amazing, but it is shadow work. So it is kind of exploring the shadow of our symbol.
And we love that.
We love it. We love it.
No better time to join.
Exactly. You're going in the deep end.
Best time, deep end. Yeah.
Jump in the deep end. But not really. I mean, not really. It's really cool. Very, very cool. It's a bit like I suppose it's a bit like going into do lion taming, and it's your first lesson into lion taming. So it could be really cool. It depends. But it's learning to tame our shadow, tame our dragons, train our beasts. Or should I say use them? I won't say train them. Learn how to use their power. Because Nadine yesterday worked on a really good shadow. Tell them, Nadine, what was your symbol you worked on yesterday in our training session?
And not really shadow. Like my symbol was like coronavirus, and so we did this psychodrama, and I acted like coronavirus, so it was very insightful.
Yeah, so that's basically what because it's very, isn't it? It's powerful.
Yeah.
You know, Hitler was powerful. Maybe he was not very nice. I didn't think he was a nice guy, but powerful. Donald Trump, powerful. So some of these people we don't like, we can't deny that they're powerful. And it's the same with our symbols of fear or depression, or they're powerful, right? Because they have a powerful effect on us. But if we can learn to use their power, use that power, we could use it for other things, you know, however we want to use it. We don't have to use it for something negative. So they're very powerful. So often our shadow is hidden in the people and the things that we really don't like. The more things that we don't like about someone or about something is actually usually a very hidden shadow. It's because we've only ever seen it as bad, as something bad. If you've only ever seen a lion, you know, do bad things like kill people, then you won't understand that there's a real power of goodness in that lion. If you knew how to use it, it could end up protecting you, you know, from bad things. So yeah, this is quite an interesting journey. I quite enjoy this quite a lot. So we'll enjoy that next week. So until then, I will love you.
If you could send me a little bit about the space goddess, so just so I can start something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
The session you had before.
Yeah, we'll send you, I told you, we'll send you the page link.
Okay.
So it's up to you. You can go onto the space one and it's all on there. You've got it all on there.
Okay, and I can find the map. Is it a journey template?
It's all on there. Everything's on there. You'll find, you won't need to go anywhere else.
All right.
You won't have to go onto my website or anything if you don't want. It'll all be on that one page. You have the journey, you have the template, you'll have the Zoom webinars, all the past ones. So that's cool. All right, guys, I'll love you and leave you for now. Any questions, just keep in touch.
Nice to see you,
Thank you.
Nadine.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Nadine.
Nice to see you.
Bye, Gary. Bye, Nadine.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon. Lots of love.
Lots of love.